I think we're live. Yep.
Yes.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Lee.
How are
Welcome
you?
to Abundance Tuning.
Why, thank
How
you.
are you? Great. Fantastic. Today, perfect. It's a perfect day. What about you?
It's a perfect day as well. It's only 3 p.m. for me, but it's what, 9 p.m. for you in Austria, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. It's like past my bedtime over there.
Yeah, Austria is 6 hours ahead, but it's a perfect time for me too.
Yeah. So it's interesting about this chapter where it's for those who are tuning in. We're talking about create, which is chapter 2 of abundance tuning. And what's kind of, I think the first thing to think of here is I'm in Canada and Karen is in Austria, and yet it doesn't matter where you are, because these laws that we're talking about here, this creative visualization that we're talking about, works for everybody all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what your situation is you are in creation mode 24 hours a day, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So what do you think about that, Karen Gatrnik from Austria?
Well, I have to say this is one of my favorite topics, creation and visualization, because this is the root and the basis, yeah, of everything in the process, in the whole process of manifestation.
Mhm.
So, and before we go to this topic of how to create um, and how to make a good visualization that you have the results you want. So I think it's important for the people to know that they create every second of a day.
Mhm.
Everybody is creating all the time, no matter where they are and no matter what they do and no matter what happens around you. But you create every second and every minute all the time.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think this is important for the people to understand that the creation process is not something you do when you sit down and you take a special time for this tool.
Mhm.
You do it all the time,
Yeah.
consciously or subconsciously. I don't know what you know about your personal experiences or about your clients you work with.
Mhm.
But I think this is very surprising for the most of the people that they create all the time.
Yeah. That kind of, even what we talked about last week about reality is, we are creating our reality all the time. So I think what we're trying to help people understand in this chapter is that you can create whatever reality you want. So we are creating all the time, like you're saying. Anything that we're thinking about is causing us to create something into our lives. So when you understand that, now you can actually take time and sit down and start to visualize the reality that you want, the life that you want, what it is that you actually want. Again, the very first paragraph I guess it's page 29 in the book, uh, it says, tuning into your new reality of abundance begins with creative visualization. Every moment of your life is infinitely creative, and the universe is endlessly bountiful. Just put forth a clear enough request, and everything your heart truly desires must come to you. Creative visualization is the technique of using your imagination to create and tune into what you want. Visualization is the first step in the magnificent process. Love, fulfillment, enjoyment, satisfying relationships, rewarding work, self-expression, health, beauty, prosperity, inner peace, and harmony, whatever your heart desires, the use of creative visualization gives us a key to tapping into the natural goodness and bounty of life. And, it goes on to say here that, you don't have to have, any kind of faith outside of yourself, right? The only thing that required is that you have the desire to enrich your knowledge and experience, and be open enough to try something new in a positive spirit. Study the principles, try the techniques with an open mind and heart, and then judge for yourself whether they're helpful to you or not. Now, we both know from our own personal experiences, it's definitely helpful. Now,
Absolutely.
you've made some changes in your life even recently. You want to share some of that? Like, you visualized it, right? The new home.
Absolutely. Yeah, I visualized this place. I moved 2 weeks ago, and the first time I saw this little house, I saw myself living in the house and playing in the garden with my dog and with my kids and having barbecue. And yeah, what can I tell you? 3 weeks later, I got the call, and they said, okay, it's yours. Yeah, we want you in the house. And this is visualization. This is a topic with so many little aspects. Um, Let me think about it, where I can start. So first, I wanna say most of the people look around to the circumstances they have right now in their reality. And if you look at the circumstances and the life you have right now, you are still in the past.
Yeah.
Because all what you see right now is that what you were thinking in the past.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you look at that what is, you always create the same circumstance and the same situation. So the first step is that people learn to ignore the reality they see right now and they don't like, because that's exactly the reason why they want to change their life, because they see always the things they don't want to have, they don't want to experience.
That's right. Yep. So it's funny when you're talking about your dog running around the backyard. I was thinking that she even manifested her own pool, didn't she? So
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Right. Exactly.
so
She did.
even
Yeah.
animals can manifest the things that they want, whether they realize it or not. I guess obviously somebody else had the opinion that she needed a pool, but I imagine she's pretty happy, right? Got her own backyard now and got her own pool. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
she manifested a good family, didn't she?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think one of the things that's important for us to understand is that we are all energy, and everything within and around us is energy. This is on the bottom of page 29, if anybody's following along in our book here.
Yeah.
So we're all part of one great energy field, which is consciousness.
Consciousness. Yeah.
So there's a few things in here I just started reading, and obviously just jump in anytime you want there, Karen, because you're the boss today. So if I'm talking too much, just tell me to shut up and let you talk, right?
What I want to say right here, I think it's a good time to tap into the emotions.
Yes. Okay.
So if you look to the reality and the circumstance or the circumstances you see right now in your life and you don't like, this picture you see creates an emotion inside of you. So, and this emotion, what you feel, is your point of attraction. So we talked about the last time when we talked about reality. The point of attraction, the vibration you are sending out right now, that's what you are creating all the time. So I hope that everybody who joins us now and the call understands that what you are feeling right now, the emotion that you are sending out right now, is the vibration and the reality that comes back.
Mhm.
So why don't we talk about the things we want to have in our life? Why don't the people talk about the circumstances, the place they want to live, the relationship they want to have? the money they want to have. And because that's what's so important. If you talk about things you want to have in your life, that's creating an emotion. And when you
Right.
feel good, when you talk about something beautiful and something about what makes you happy, then you feel a different emotion. And that's what you're sending out and what's coming back. And that's the creating all the time. That's how the people create their lives.
Mhm. Yeah, it's important to understand that we're attracting whatever we believe in our heart,
Yeah.
good or bad. And
Yeah.
that's the problem, when you get people that, maybe they are struggling a little bit financially. So they're constantly worrying about, can I pay the bills at the end of the month? Well, the sad part is you're not going to attract to you what you need to pay the bills at the end of the month. In fact, you're going to attract situations that's going to cause you to have more difficulty paying the bills at the end of the month. Like a big part of all this, and we even talked about in Think and Grow Rich about having faith.
Yeah.
We must have faith that it's all going to work out, because you know what? If you have faith, it does work out. Sometimes,
Absolutely.
again, because we attract to us what vibration we're in, then, yes, sometimes you're still going to hit roadblocks. But if you have faith, you're also going to be shown how to get around the roadblock. Right. And that's the thing about,
Absolutely.
creative visualization is about visualizing the life, everything you want in your life as you expect it to be, not how it is. And that, I think that, the thing to understand is that, again, we're constantly creating our own reality. So when we're talking about creative visualization, it's important, like you've already said, that you have to understand that it's happening 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And 99% of the time, for most people, we're visualizing what we don't want, which goes into what you're saying about getting emotionally involved in it, because you can get emotionally involved in the negativity. In fact, most people spend their whole day worrying about something. And that's exactly the wrong way to be. We have to be focusing on where we want to go and what we want in our life. And it could be anything. You manifested a new home. It could be about relationships. It can be about anything, really, anything that you want. It could be vacations. It could be, maybe you want a new career. Maybe you want, to travel more, things like whatever it is that you want. As long as you're emotionally involved with it, it's going to happen. It must happen. It's basically the law of this universe. Right?
Yeah.
And it's the law of vibration and attraction. So when we're talking about creative visualization, it's very important to be visualizing what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where most people make a mistake. So I think what else we got? It's crucial to relax. Okay, that's another part. So part of this too, one of the things in this chapter is, we do help people start to understand how to do the process of creative visualization. And I'll just read this. This is on page 30. It's an exercise, basic creative visualization. Think of something you desire. Choose something easily imagined attaining. It might be an object, an event you would like to experience, a situation or circumstance you would like to improve in your life. Now find yourself in a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down in a quiet place, somewhere you will not be disturbed. That's important. Relax your body completely, starting from your toes and moving up to the top of your head. Relax each muscle in your body, letting all tensions flow out of your body. Breathe deeply, slowly from your abdomen. Start to count down slowly from 10 to 1, feeling yourself getting more deeply relaxed with each count. And when you feel deeply relaxed, start to imagine what you want as you would like it. If it is an object, imagine yourself with the item, using it, admiring it, enjoying it, showing it to your friends. Imagine yourself in everyone, or imagine everything in it, enjoying it, showing it to your friends. Imagine yourself and everything happening just as you would want it. If it is a situation or event, imagine the people are saying or what they're saying, and any details that it may more naturally to you, make it more natural. You take time to imagine whatever feels best to you, and have fun with it. That's the key, right? You got to have
That's the
fun,
key.
right?
Absolutely.
The problem is, you see people, they'll head to church on a Sunday, and that's the only time they actually think of these things. They get down on their knees and say, "Oh, dear Lord, please give me." Well, dear Lord, whoever that happens to be to you, wants to give you whatever you want, but gives you what you say you want by way of vibration, right? So when you start talking about what I want and you get excited about it, you get happy with it, you have fun with the whole concept, you enjoy it as if it's already yours. Well, it is. It is already yours. Now we're going to get more into why you don't actually receive it as we get farther into the book, but the key at this point is, we talked about in chapter 1 about you taking responsibility for your reality, understanding that you are the cause of everything. Okay, now that we understand that, okay, what do we want? What's it look like? And that's what this is all about. And it's very important. It's really the starting point of everything. If you have no idea where you're going or what you want, well, you're never going to get there.
Yeah, but I think that's the biggest challenge for everybody, for the most people, because they don't have this clear picture. They don't have a
Right.
clear vision. And this is why it's so important to be clear on your goal, that you know what you want, to feel the excitement and the satisfaction for something. And everybody has this inside. That's what so many people don't know, that they have something inside.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that down deep inside, we all know what we really truly want.
Yeah.
If somebody said, "I don't know what I want," it's only because they've been conditioned to believe they can't have what they want.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are that way. You can grow up in an environment where, oh, that's for rich people. Oh, that's for those people over there. That's not for us. People like us don't get those kind of things. Well, none of that is true. You can have anything you want.
Everybody can have everything they want, they can imagine. Everything can create anything in the world, and much more. And that's so important to understand, that with the imagination, you can create everything in your life. And what's the most important factor is in this process are the emotions, because the thoughts you're sending out to the universe knows what you want, and through your emotion, you bring this in your reality.
Yeah. So it's important. Go ahead. I was just going to say, it's very important to, take time to relax, maybe meditate, close your eyes and just visualize anything and everything it is that you want. Get emotionally involved with having it in your life as if it's already here. And you'll start to attract the how to make it all happen. And it's kind of exciting because, in the beginning, if it's something new to you, a lot of people, they keep saying, "Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?" But what's happening by doing that is you're actually pushing it away.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to get to the point where you understand that it's already here. Like, all you're doing is tuning into the how to get it. There isn't anything that you could ever imagine that doesn't already exist in this universe. It may not be here physically, but if you can see it, then you can bring it into the physical world. But it might require you to take some type of actions, which that's another problem, right? Most people don't. So do you have some ideas of how people can relax and start to learn to just chill out, I guess is a good word?
Yeah, absolutely. The best way I found out for myself is just to sit down and to put the focus on the breathing. So if you sit down and just quiet your mind and you focus, breathe in and breathe out, and just listen to the air that you breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. This is something that brings you just in on a different level, because we have different brain waves. So I just want to talk a little bit about the brain waves, because if we are going through the day and if we may do all the things they are normal for us, if we make a coffee, and if we put on our clothes and we go to the bathroom and we make the dishes, or we go to work. This all happens on the beta level brain waves. So for all, they are not so involved in the brain waves and the different levels. We have the brain waves where all the conscious things happen, where we do everything we do through the day. And then if you sit down and you focus on your breathing, then you slow your brain waves down. And then you come to the alpha level. And the alpha brain waves are brain waves where you can relax. And then you have some more levels, the theta brain waves, and then the delta brain waves. And as deeper as you go, so as more possibility you have to touch your subconscious mind. And this is so important, because we know that 5% works in our conscious mind, and 95% is responsible. Everything what happens in the subconscious mind, and that's what we get in our reality. That's our program.
Your behavior and how you feel about things in the day all are on a beta level.
Yeah.
So that deep meditating, that time that you can really visualize what you want is through that alpha level, which is found mostly in the morning when you're getting up or before you go to bed at night. Those are the perfect times to be able to, shut everything off and just relax and focus on the things that you want. Is that right?
Yeah, just focus in mind, no matter if you speak it out loud or just have the thoughts in your mind, because important is that you feel it, no matter if you speak it out loud or if you see the pictures in your mind. This is the way you come in touch with the subconscious mind. And this is the way where you can change a lot. Because if you change the programming in the subconscious mind, which is responsible for 95% of our results, then you change your reality, and then you change your results. And this is a very important thing, but it's so beautiful. I don't know how you experience the visualization or meditation. If you sit down and you quiet your mind and you become still in your mind, and you visualize this life you want to live with all the details and with all the emotions. This is such a beautiful state of being that it's no matter if you have manifested or not, because you can take these feelings with you throughout the day. And this is a very important step, because if you are not looking for the manifestation and you focus on the feelings, then the manifestation has to come, because this is the law of attraction.
Something to it, as you're, meditating or just relaxing and visualizing the things you want, like you said, your subconscious mind is absorbing this information. And, our behavior is generally someone else's behavior that we've been conditioned to believe that's how you do things.
Yeah.
And that's there because of the constant repetition of information as we're, basically mostly growing up in life, especially when we're young. We're constantly being bombarded by the information that our family and people around us are giving us, and we're absorbing that. So by doing what you're saying there, and meditating and getting into that alpha state and visualizing, you're basically creating a brand new conditioned way of thinking, because your subconscious mind has no ability to accept or reject whatever you give it. Now, it can put up an argument. Like when you try to give it something it's not aware of or never done before, it's going to say, no, that's not how we do it, and try to get you not to do it. But with the constant repetition of that beautiful vision that you have of the life you want, eventually your subconscious mind starts to adapt it to it being as though it's reality. And as you go through the day, you're going to find yourself feeling differently. You're going to find yourself behaving differently. And this universe is responding to the vibration you're in. So it's giving you anything and everything you can imagine along that path. But the more and more you absorb this information subconsciously, the more and more you're going to see what's on the path. Now, it's always been on the path. The problem is we're not conditioned to see it. And that's where this, creative visualization, the constant repetition of that big, beautiful picture gets impressed upon the subconscious mind. And you, not only do you get to see it, but you're going to enjoy it, because you're going to realize that, the more you do this, and this is something I started to realize, especially in the last few years, that I've been doing a little bit more work on myself. And it's fascinating to me how everything is right there in front of me. Do I miss some of it? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do I find that I get too busy with something else and forget about something? Yes. But it's always still there. Like I just, I may take me 3 or 4 days to actually realize it's there, but I'll realize it's there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, I remember Bob Proctor always saying, gratitude is the attitude that hooks you up to the source. Right. So be thankful for everything. Again, that puts you into that vibration. So even if, if you're visualizing something and maybe you've got this big giant dream, but so far you've only materialized a little piece of it. Well, be very, very grateful for that little piece. Right. Because it's, again, putting you into a vibration of receiving. And, again, thinking of Bob again, that's something he always said too, was that if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And we've talked about this before, even on recent calls, that you take a look at some of the, most successful people in the world. Like there is no way that they could have ever created what they created on their own. It's impossible.
That's true.
But they had a vision of something and they were open to receiving. They took the action necessary. They had no idea where they were going or how they were going to get it, because you don't need to know. You just have to be willing to take the steps. Take that first step and see where the second step is. That's all you have to do, right? But if you don't have a picture of where you want to go, well, then you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to go around and around circles. And that's what people do. They spend their whole lives, like, people go and they get a job somewhere and they spend 30 years at the same job and they've never enjoyed it. All it does is pay the bills. It pays the mortgage on the house or the rent on their house, and it pays for the car payment. And maybe if they're lucky, there's a little bit extra so they can go on a vacation once in a while. And then 30 years goes by and now they're retiring and they got nothing to do. In fact, most people don't live that much longer past retirement because there's no reason to live. There's no reason to get up in the morning anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Even if you did spend 30 years working at a job, you can start today. It doesn't matter how old you are. You could be, 85 years old, and it doesn't matter. You could start to create a brand new life starting right now. You can. And as long as you're willing to keep moving, it's yours.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's beautiful about all this, is it all starts with that creative visualization. You got to have a picture. You got to be able to see it in your mind of what it is that you want. Right? I know that you like visiting California, and you're blessed with a daughter that gave you a ticket to go to California.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's even situations like that. Like you had a birthday, and you manifested a ticket to California. Right? It came by way of your daughter, but who cares how it comes? It doesn't matter how you get it. The reality is it comes.
Yeah. And that's the point. So many people hung up on the point, how can I make this happen? How can I bring it to my reality? How can I manifest this? And that's not important. That's not our job. That's the job of the universe, because I always teach my clients, and that's what I do always. We create, so we ask. The second step is universe answers immediately. But the question is only, where are we, or you, or I, or all the people? The universe always answers, but the question is, where am I when the answer comes?
Yeah.
But
That's
the
something too.
how is, yeah,
Carry on. Go ahead. I just
the how is not our responsibility, because the universe brings the things to us in a way we could never imagine.
one of the things that I learned quite a long time ago is there is no judgment from the universe or God or divine, whatever it is that you want to refer to it as. There is none. Like I hear people all the time say, "Well, someday if it's God's will." It is God's will. End of story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's no thinking about it. Oh, let me get back to you. God's not going, "Oh, let me get back to you." No, God goes, here you go. But what you have to understand, and I think this is the part that people have most difficulties with, is if you're focusing on something negative, that same God goes, here you go. So positive or negative, it's here you go. It's got nothing to do with God's will. It's your will. God gave you free will, and anything and everything you can imagine is already here. So it's as soon as you think it, boom, there you go. Good or bad. Like that's the problem. Something else
that's what people, I think that's what people have to understand, that that's what you're thinking, and especially what you're feeling. The universe or God always says, here's some more, here's some more, here's some more. And this is the creation, and this is the way most of the people create their life. They look at the circumstance and the reality, and they see what they don't like, and they are frustrated or worried or full of doubt. And so the universe says, okay, here's some more, here's some more, here's some more.
There you go.
And this is the process of manifestation. So that's the reason why I always say it's so important to feel happy. And everybody has so many possibilities and circumstances to be happy.
And be grateful.
And be grateful. Yeah.
I know a lady, it's funny, she'd run into a door and say thank you.
Yeah.
I remember that. It was like she thanks about everything. I'm like, what are you thinking running into a door for? Like but I did ask her one time. I don't think it was about a door, but it was along those lines, and she saw it as it was an opportunity to learn something. Like how not to run into a door, I guess, or something else.
Yeah.
What's interesting in the book here, I just jumped a little farther ahead, but it's page 35 at the bottom. The title says using creative visualization, but this is from the Bible. It's Matthew 7:8. It's from the King James Version, but I always thought this was fascinating. And think about this was written a couple thousand years ago, right? So,
absolutely.
Now, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Right? So there's nothing different in what that says to what we're talking about right now. It doesn't say, oh, if you're worthy, or if it's God's will. It doesn't say that. It says, ask and it shall be given you.
Yeah.
Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. End of story, right? And that's the part that, if people just understood that, we can make a lot of differences in this world. We're both part of the Elevate Network, and that's kind of the goal, is to elevate the world. And the more and more people that start to understand that we can change everything and anything. Like it's, every time you turn the news on, basically they're telling you the sky is falling and the world is coming to an end, and it's all that person's fault. Well, no, it's not. It's not.
No, it's
the sky is not falling. The world is not coming to an end. The only way that's going to happen is if we all collectively start to believe it. Right now, obviously, they have some kind of a motive. I don't know what it is. I could probably talk about it, but we're not going to. It's not about that, but they have a motive, which has nothing to do with what's in the best interest of us. So the key is don't listen. The reality is there's a solution to everything. Like, if you look at how we live our lives today, like even the fact that, you're in Austria, I'm in Canada, and we're talking on this thing called Zoom, and we're broadcasting it live on Facebook. Now go back 100 years and tell people that we'd be doing that, and they'd probably want to lock you up in a hospital somewhere because you were in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And
here we
that
are.
wouldn't have been possible. No,
Right.
because they couldn't imagine it.
That's right. Like even, you look at, Richard Branson or Elon Musk, and, they're working on taking space travel, taking anybody who can afford to buy the ticket out into space.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that long ago, back, John Kennedy was the president, so was that the 60s, when they first put a man on the moon. Now we're talking about commercial flights in space. And they're talking about putting a man on Mars, or a woman. It could be a woman. Back in the 60s, it was always men, but today it's probably could be all women. Right? So anything is possible because somebody saw it. They visualized it.
Yeah.
And then they started moving in whatever direction they were being led. And the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, gave them exactly what they needed when they needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Ask and ye shall receive. So
yeah, and that's when the impulses come in.
Right.
That's creating. That's when you do visualization, that you sit down and you quiet your mind and you see the big picture. If you come out of this visualization, I feel it every time I do it, then some impulse comes in. Mm-hmm. And if I act on this impulse, I promise you something happens. Either I get a phone call, or I meet the right person, or I'm on at the right time at the right place, or I find exactly what I need for the next step in the internet, on Google. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating, and this is when the miracles happen. This is when a miracle comes into your life, and people have to trust. Yeah, we talked about faith and at Thinking Grow Rich. When you have the faith that only good things come to you and that everything is working out for you, then you get these impulses. Then you are in the right vibration. Mm-hmm. And this is when you are in sync, when you are in harmony with the universe. Right. But most of the people, they think, okay, I have to find something out there and I have to learn something more, or I need this, I need that. No, and that's not true. That's a false premise. Because everybody has everything inside, everything they need. Every one of us has all the things inside.
You just have to have that faith, like you just said. You have to have the faith. And, again, I think the biggest problem people have, and you were talking about 95% of the people really aren't living the life they want to live. It's because we're not conditioned to.
Yeah.
And, when you start to realize that you can have anything you can ever imagine, but why not just try with something small, like, again, you don't need to know exactly how to get it. And that's where, again, you're saying people make a big mistake. They think that they need to have all the answers. You don't need to have any of the answers. You just need to have the will to want to move towards whatever it is you want. And that's all this universe is asking for, is you take the first step. And then it'll guide you with the second step. Because even if your first step is completely the wrong direction, the universe will show you that you need to turn around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But you have to be open to receiving that information. Mm-hmm. And that's where that faith comes in. Like, as soon as you put it out into the universe, it's already here. You just don't realize it. And the only way you're going to realize it is by taking some form of action. And that's the thing most people don't realize is, I love, people talk about vision boards, which I highly recommend. They're a great tool.
Oh, I had many vision boards. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, when somebody makes a vision board, I think that a lot of the law of attraction teaching that's out there, it teaches you to do a vision board, but they don't teach you that you have to act. Because people have a vision board and they've got all these wonderful pictures and they get really excited looking at this vision board, but they never actually do anything.
Mhm.
And again, that's the part that most people don't understand is the universe is expecting you to act. You must act. You
Yeah.
don't have to have all the answers. In fact, it's almost better that you don't think you have any of the answers. You're better off to just go. And we talked the last week on specialized knowledge in the Think and Grow Rich call that we do on Thursdays. You may need to find some specialized knowledge from someone else to take you where you want to go. Well, that's you acting, though.
Yeah.
Like, that the universe probably says, well, you need to know how to do this, but you don't personally need to know how to do it. You need to find somebody who knows how to do it. We
Mhm.
talked about specialized knowledge, even like, Henry Ford and Thomas Edison and people like that. They didn't know how to do any of the things that they ended up doing. They got
Yeah.
specialized knowledge, right? So those are the things, again, it's just about taking action. But it all starts with, what do you want? Right? Like, what do you want your life to look like? I
But this is
manifest.
the basic of all. This is the basic for everything, that you know what you want. And I don't know how you experienced it with your clients, but when I ask my clients, where do you want to see yourself in maybe 3 or 5 years, most of the people have no answer. So many people, they tell me, oh, I don't know what my passion is. I don't know when the universe or God tells me why I'm here. So, and then I say to them, okay, you have to find it out. You know what you want. You feel what you feel. You feel the passion you carry inside of you.
Mhm.
And this is the part everybody has everything inside.
Yep,
Nobody
absolutely.
needs anything from outside.
Something that I found interesting. I like musicians. I guess down deep inside, I think I am one, even though I'm not. I think I could be. This is something too. I find if I look back to when I was young, I had a passion for music, but nobody in my environment encouraged me that way. It wasn't, it was a pipe dream. It was like, oh no, you got to go get a job working in a factory and trading your time for money, and
Yeah,
it's too hard to make it in that industry. But
yeah.
and I've worked with musicians, and I can see the same thing in them, even though like they've got incredible talent. Like I know people that should be touring the world, but they're not.
Mhm,
And why aren't they? Because they think that they have to wait for that break. They
mhm,
need to have somebody, find them and say, hey, we're gonna, we want to sign you to a record deal, and
mhm.
then we'll do this for you. But yet there's a lot of people today that because of social media have become stars on their own. They don't need anybody else. But
Mhm.
how do they know how to do that? They had a vision of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and they had a vision, and that's when the science comes in. The science from today found out if you connect with the quantum field, and this is the uh, when you slow down your brain waves, you connect yourself with the quantum field.
Hmm?
Then you bring everything to you. You don't have to go after anything. You bring everything to you through the emotion you feel. This is so interesting because many spiritual teachers, they talked about it many hundred of thousand years ago. Just imagine, and then you can hold it in your hand.
Yep.
And now the quantum physics is in this state that they say, okay, there is much more than the physical body. The physical body is just 1% of
Where you live.
the energy we are sending out.
Yep.
So then the next question is, okay, how can we communicate with the quantum field and with the universe more? With the physical body, with the physical action, or with the emotions, with the vibration we are practicing.
Exactly. Like, it's all energy, right? Everything is
It's
energy.
all energy.
You are a ball of energy. You know,
Yeah.
we live in a 3D world, so we see a physical body, but the reality is, if you were to put that under a microscope, it's nothing but energy. You know, you've got different types of cameras that'll show the aura around you. Well,
Yeah.
that's proof. That's you have energy flowing in and out of you all the time, right? And that's,
Yeah.
again, every thought is energy.
Yeah. And
Right?
nothing stands still. This is moving all the time. Every time you send out a thought, this is energy in motion. And energy in motion is emotion.
Yeah. You know, it's got a kick. Let's just stick on that music side of things for a moment. And the only reason I think of this is because I had a friend earlier. Him and I, when I was in the Toronto area, we went to a lot of concerts. And
Yeah.
I'm an old rocker from way back. I like all kinds of music, but I kind of grew up with rock. And there's a band that I think you kind of either you like them or you hate them. But he was mentioning this, what made me thinking of it. Is a band called Motley Crue. Now, you kind of have to like that 80s heavy metal kind of sound to like Motley Crue. But here's a band, if you think about it, most people don't like them because it's kind of heavy and the lyrics are not really something you want to pay too much attention to.
Okay.
They're kind of nasty, actually, the lyrics.
Okay.
But I'll just give you an example. One of their biggest hits is a song called Dr. Feelgood, and it's about a drug dealer. So like it's not the kind of stuff that you really want to sit and listen to it, but it's fun to listen to it without listening to the words. But interesting, what I was trying to get at is, here's a band that you would think would never have survived.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're out on tour right now. This is a band that started in the early 80s. And they're out doing a tour right now where they're headlining with another band from that era, Def Leppard, and they're selling out stadiums. Their average, I just saw it the other day, the average seat sales per show is 36,000. Like, they're selling
Wow.
36,000 on average. Some of them are more and some of them are less, but on average, 36,000 tickets per show.
Wow.
That's a lot. And this is a band, again, that started in the early 80s. So we're talking 40 years. Like, these guys are older than me. Not that I'm old.
No.
But they're older than I am. And I also saw a thing that out of all the rock bands that have, since they've been recording this information, they're number 24 in record sales. Which, if you think about it,
Wow.
out of all,
That's good. That's pretty good.
they've sold over 100 million albums. And this is a band that, if you don't really know Motley Crue and you listen to them, every song almost sounds the same. But I've seen interviews with the main guy. His name is Nikki Sixx. He actually legally changed his name, which is weird. I forget what his real name is. Something, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But Nikki Sixx is his. He's the guy that wrote most of the songs, and he's kind of the lead in the band. Now, if you know music, rock bands, usually the bass player is not necessarily the front man. But Nicky's kind of the front guy. He's the bass player. He's not the lead singer, but he's the guy that wrote most of the songs. And I've listened to him talk about the vision, and he's had the vision of doing what he's doing right now since he was a kid.
Really?
And he didn't have any support. His family didn't support him. He even had problems with drug addictions and things like that, but he never lost the vision. And now he's out doing a stadium tour 40 years after the time they started. Did he know how to do that? No. But it just goes to show that, whether you like Nikki Sixx or Motley Crue or anything, it doesn't matter. The point is there's a person right there that had a vision and has never let go of it. He even had a really successful radio show. He was syndicated all across North America on a radio show that, again, how did he ever get to do that? He saw it in his mind and he held it in his hand. So, I don't know that that's such a great example, but it is an example. And if he can do it, so can you or I. If Richard
Yeah.
Branson can fly into space, so can we if we wanted to.
Yeah. Think about Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
What life did she create? What life does she have? Everybody around the world, everybody knows Oprah.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And
Why?
that's what she created, just with a vision.
Right. And even when she got started, people, because she was a little bit overweight, people told her she'd never make it in television.
Mm-hmm.
She used to do weather in Chicago. She was the weather lady in Chicago. So now she's Oprah. Right?
And now she's Oprah. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, like who doesn't know who Oprah is? Like even
Yeah.
we had this conversation the other day with the Think and Grow Rich with Richard Branson. He didn't even finish grade 10. He quit. But he had a vision of what he wanted to do. Now he's got Virgin Airlines, Virgin Radio, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Galactica, which is the new thing he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. How is that possible? He saw it in his mind. He took some action.
Yeah.
And he didn't stop until he had it. Right. So we can do the exact same thing. It's got more to do with the vibration you're in. That's it.
Yeah. That's so important. And that's what I love to talk about the vibration.
So are you going to be the
Because-
next? Are you going to be the next Oprah there, Karen?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Do you want to be?
I know she's gonna call me and invite me to her show.
You don't need Oprah.
And that's so important. That's what I
I
always want to talk.
I want you to invite me to your show.
Okay, that's not a possibility. Okay, challenge accepted.
There you go.
Here we go.
Right. You never know. You might have somebody that sees this and thought, hey, we've got a show for her. Let's go talk to her. Let's see, maybe she wants to do a show with us. You never know.
Yeah,
it's possible.
maybe.
See, you got to want it though.
Mm-hmm.
I've known you for a while now. I don't think that's something you want. It's not something that's on your list of things to get. But if this was something you always wanted, then even doing what we're doing right now could lead you right to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like it's, any kind of something like that, for example, you need to have, you're going to have to develop some skills.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you develop skills? By just doing it. Like neither one of us has
just
really
doing.
done a lot of this in the past, and yet here we are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Elevate Network, we've been talking about the Elevate Network. It's not been done before, but yet we're doing it.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great. And that's also what I've manifested, the Elevate Network. That's a perfect example for manifestation. That's what I thought maybe 2-3 years ago. That would be great. A community, and with all the programs and shows, and to be a part of this environment, to lift up other people, and we lift us up. And that's another way and another perspective. And that's absolutely great. And now it's here. And I was sitting so many days and weeks and months and tried to find out the skills. What do I need? How can I make this? How can I make that? And okay. And the universe said, don't struggle. Stop the effort. Okay. And then I booked a call with you, Lee. And so here we go.
I remember when I first got the message from you, I saw Austria. And I was thinking of, I don't know, unless her English is really good, then I'm not going to be able to help her. Because I've had other people like, if it's somebody that's in a country where it's not predominantly English, I've had problems with trying to help people because there's always some kind of communication problem. And in this type of work, you got to be able to communicate well. And that was the thing that, I think in the beginning I said, I'm sorry, I don't work with people in Austria. And you said, no, I speak English. And then we met and I'm thinking, no, there's nothing wrong with this. I can understand her. And she seems like a great person. So let's do it. And here we are, not that long later, we're doing our own little show right here, talking about the same program that we've been working on. Right. It's fascinating how that works, isn't it?
Absolutely. And these are examples to motivate other people.
Yes.
To tell them, I went that through, I experienced it, and I also created it.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's possible for everybody.
Mhm. Yeah. And, we both visualizing something somehow. And obviously, you fit into part of what I wanted, and what I see going where I'm going. I fit into something that you want as where you're going. And that's what the universe does. It puts us together. Right. Like
Yeah.
it's, if you think about it, like of all the people in the world that you could work with, you reached out to me.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's because somehow you were led this way. And the interesting thing is where we're going with all of this is much more in line with what you're hoping to do. Like it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the big picture of what it is that you want. I just happen to be a piece in the puzzle. I was a piece in the puzzle. And then the same thing is, I have this big vision of where I want to go, and I need partners to do what I'm doing. And you're fitting into that as well. Like you're doing it right now. We're partnering on this call. We're helping people to, create an abundance in their lives. Right. So
Yeah.
you came along and filled the part that I was looking for, and I came along and filled the part where you're looking for. And that's how this works.
Yeah.
That's the thing that, hopefully people will leave this call and realize that you can have anything you want, but you got to know what it is. And you got to
Yeah.
believe that you can have it because you can. Ask and ye shall receive, seek and ye shall find, knock and the door will be open, right? That's it.
Exactly. Yeah,
Just,
exactly. That's it. And that's when the magic comes in. That's when magic happens.
right.
Don't hang up on the how. That's what I tell everybody almost every day. Don't think about the how. You can't know what the universe has for you.
Mhm.
And how's the universe gonna surprise you? There's so many different ways and sources where all the manifestations come in. And yeah, so I just can say trust to everybody who is looking, who is watching us now. Trust that magic happens.
Mhm. It does. I think that, as we're wrapping up here, that, I would encourage people, we were talking about getting in that alpha state, that relaxed state, and visualize. Now, start by, visualizing what you want your life to look, maybe even like 5 years out. But then, you don't have to know how you're going to do it. It doesn't make any difference. Now break it up and say now 3 years from now, where do you need to be to get to where you want to be 5 years from now? And then get emotionally involved where you are 3 years. And then break it down again to 1 year, to 6 months, to 3 months, to 1 week. Where do you need to be in 1 week? What do you need to have in your life in 1 week to get you to the life you want 5 years down the road? And that's all you really need to focus on. And you can even break it down and say, okay, this is where I am today. What do I need to do tomorrow that's going to take me closer to where I need to be in 1 week, and then 3 months, and then 6 months, and then 3 years, and then 5 years? And guess what? I think you're going to find that that 5 year goal will get moved up pretty rapidly, because it won't take 5 years. The only reason you think it's 5 years
Yeah.
is you're conditioned to think it's going to take 50 years. And 5 years is a pipe dream, but it's not. Are you going to manifest $1 billion next week? No, you're not. You could, but you're not. Like, don't think you can. But could you be a billionaire? Yes, you can. Anybody can. Poverty is something that's in a person's mind. You're conditioned to believe that you're not capable of or worthy of financial success, or even somebody who, is looking for that special person in their life. Well, if you grow up in an environment where, your parents were maybe not together, or they just really never seemed overly loving, then you have no idea what that is. So you have to imagine it. You have to create it. You have to visualize it and get
Right.
emotionally involved with the whole concept. Because guess what? You've never done it before. You don't even know anybody who's ever done it before, but it is possible. There's lots of people out there that have beautiful, fantastic relationships. Why can't you have one? You can. You just have to know what that is. What's it look like? I always tell people too, like, if you don't like something in your life, what's the exact opposite? And then focus on that. Like, there's a lot of people with doubt, worry, stress, anxiety in their life, fear, a lot of fear. What's the opposite of those words? What's the opposite of doubt and worry? What's the opposite of stress and fear and anxiety? What's the opposite?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you can start making, affirmations using the new words. Like, I want to, have a wonderful relationship. So I'm so happy and grateful now I'm in a loving, caring relationship. This person is my best friend. We love and adore each other. Now, there's probably very few people that actually have a relationship like that in their life. But you can. It might mean that you have to change. That's okay, as long as you keep focusing on what you want, you're going to change. Because you're going to start to realize that, for you to have that in your life, you have to be that. You're not going to attract somebody like that if you're the complete opposite. You think of how many people, go and get into a relationship that doesn't work out. And then the next relationship is pretty much the same as the other relationship. They keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Because they don't know what they want. They don't even think about it. They think that, if it's God's will, the right person will show up at the right time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's not how it works. The person that's showing up is the person that's on the same vibration as you. If you have a low self-esteem, then you're going to find the wrong person. So creative visualization is the key.
Exactly. Yeah. Start to tell a new story, and a wonderful tool is also write this story down and try it out maybe for the next 30 days, that you read your new story of your new life before you go to bed and before you fall asleep. And when you wake up in the morning, you take your story and you read it. And with these emotions, you go in the day. You can start your day. And this is something I want to give you before we break up. And I say thank you for watching. And thank you, Lee, for your time.
Likewise.
And I wish everybody a wonderful night or a wonderful day.
It's a wonderful thing to be able to have conversations with people that are in a good vibration. And that actually just reminded me too, tomorrow on it's not going to be live, but people can join in on what we're calling the Elevate Roundtable. And it's at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And there should be links in Facebook, but I'm sure we'll can add them. Maybe we'll add even underneath this video a link where you can register, and you'll actually be able to come on the Zoom call with us. And we're going to talk about anything and everything anybody wants to talk about, and even like masterminding ideas, which is a great thing. Is, if you've got an idea, sometimes the universe will tell you, show you the path by way of someone else. And that's the great thing about masterminding, is you could sit and have a few people in a call, and somebody say, I'm thinking about doing this. And somebody will go, well, have you thought about that? And have you thought about that? And have you thought about that? And then you'd be surprised that by the time you're in the call, you know exactly what you need to be doing. So I encourage people to come on the roundtable that we're doing tomorrow. Again, it's not live, but you do need to register, and we'll give you a link to the Zoom call if somebody wants to come and join us. Hopefully they will. I think it's going to be great. What do you think, Karen?
Oh, that's a wonderful thing. Yeah, I'm so excited of tomorrow. Yes, I love it. Yeah, this is great. The mastermind group is something, where we can lift everybody up. New inspiration, new motivation. And this is exactly what growth is for me. That's my description for growth, for personal growth. This is what we all want on Elevate, that the people grow, that they expand, and they open up their mind, and they open up their conscious mind, and to be open to receive. That's all, because then we can have it all. And we want to change the world.
It's interesting, the next chapter that we're going to talk about next week is called Freedom.
Yes, love it.
the very first part again, I had a tendency to draw things from the Bible because a lot of people understand the Bible. And I think, I'm not a religious person. I'm much more spiritual. I do believe in a higher power, which I don't have a problem calling it God. But again, it doesn't matter to me. But I don't follow any particular religion. But I do find the Bible has a lot of the answers there, just about everything. And at the top here, I got another quote from the Bible. It's from Romans 12:2 from the King James Version. And it says, and he not conformed, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Now, what they're referring to when they say the will of God, it's God's will for you to live the life that you choose.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I think some people make the mistake if they say if it's God's will. It's God's will, whatever vibration you're in. I think we talked about it in here as well as, prayer is not the words you say, it's the vibration that you're in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's how you feel about those words.
Yeah. And that's why happiness is so important. Alignment, to feel the gratitude, appreciation for everything you have right now.
Yeah.
That's the vibration and the language of the universe.
You got it. Right. Gratitude is the attitude that hooks you up to the source. The more you're grateful for, the more you're going to be given to be grateful for. So gratitude is a vibration. It's an energy. So, like that lady I said would run into a door and say thank you.
I'm not gonna try it out.
I'm just going to take her word for it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, I guess we're wrapping things up for today, and we'll be back next week with the next chapter at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And again, anybody might be interested in joining us tomorrow on our Elevate Roundtable, where we can join in on the conversation, where you're actually on the Zoom call with us and having conversations. That'd be great. I'll put the link on the Facebook group once we get off of here. And then they can keep in mind too, on Thursdays at 3:00 on Thursdays, we're back with Walter and Eric, and we're talking about Think and Grow Rich. So all kinds of wonderful things. So, great to see you, Karin Gatrinig from Austria.
Great to see you, Lee. Amazing Jenkins.
Join the Elevate Roundtable, and we'll tell you what that means. That's a sign of So again, thanks to everybody who might have joined us, and Karin, great seeing you, and we'll see everyone next time.
See you next time. Talk to you soon.